I sat alone in the dimly lit diner, nursing a cold cup of coffee. It was one of those nights where regret clung to me like a shadow, the kind that makes you relive the mistakes you swore you'd forget. Mine was a memory I couldn't escape. 5 years ago, I chose my career over family. My younger brother David begged me to visit him one last time before he left for the Peace Corps, but I was too busy. I told him we'd catch up when he returned. He never came back. The car accident robbed me of that chance. Since then, every phone call I ignored, every next time I promised, it all weighed on me. I stared blankly at the table when a voice cut through my thoughts. Mind if I sit here? I looked up. A man, maybe in his late 40s, with piercing eyes and a warm smile, stood there. Something about him felt familiar, yet I was certain we'd never met. "Sure," I mumbled, not really in the mood for company. He slid into the booth across from me, his gaze steady. "You've been carrying that regret for a long time, haven't you?" My heart skipped a beat. "Excuse me, your brother, David, right?" he said softly. My stomach churned. How could he possibly know that? "Who are you?" I demanded, my voice shaking. "Just someone who knows what it's like to hold on to the past," he replied, unfazed by my rising panic. "Look, I don't know who you are or what you're trying to pull, but this is none of your business," I snapped, sliding out of the booth. "Wait," he said, his tone calm but firm. "You're not mad at me. You're mad at yourself, and you've been punishing yourself ever since." I froze. He was right, but hearing it out loud felt like a punch to the gut. "You think if you hold on to that guilt long enough, it'll somehow make up for what happened, but that's not what he'd want." Tears welled up in my eyes. "You don't know what he'd want, don't I?" he said, tilting his head slightly. "David was proud of you. He understood why you couldn't make it that day, but you've been so caught up in regret that you've forgotten the good memories you shared." The air felt heavy as if the diner itself was holding its breath. "Who are you?" I whispered again. He smiled faintly and stood. "Just someone who's been given a second chance to remind people like you to live in the present, not the past." And with that, he walked away, leaving me stunned. I ran to the door, but when I looked out into the street, he was gone, completely vanished. I returned to my seat, heart pounding, replaying his words. Was he a ghost? An angel? A figment of my imagination? I didn't know. But one thing was certain, I couldn't keep living in the shadow of my regret. That night I pulled out an old photo album and smiled through my tears. For the first time in years, I let myself remember the laughter, the joy, and the love David and I shared. And for the first time, I felt peace.